Hello and welcome to the Sheffield FC Women YouTube channel. I'm here with the manager, Graham Abercrombie. Graham, how are you getting on?
I'm fine, thanks, mate. Good, actually. The sun's shining today, so really happy. So, yeah, all good.
Yeah, it's been good weather recently. Some good time for football, I can imagine, as well.
Yeah, perfect week to come back, really. So, good week at training has lifted everybody, and the weather being relatively good has helped as well. So, yeah, a two-way thing, really, to be positive.
Just before we get into sort of the training side and the football side, the fitness side, obviously there was the announcement a couple of weeks ago about the season being voided once again. What are your feelings on that and thoughts on that?
Well, obviously we discussed this last time we were together, and I do believe it's not probably the most what would you say, popular comments I'm going to say now, but I think it's the right thing. Some people will say, "Oh, it's because you're near the bottom of the league that you're saying that," but that's not the case. The absolute case is, I think null and void is, most importantly, consistent with the previous year. And the reason I say that is because there was teams who could have got promoted the previous year. We played more games the previous year when it got null and voided, and we played less this year. And there was teams who were flying high in the fourth tier, particularly, who would have an argument this year that they should have gone up last year or played the games and squeezed them in. So I think consistency was really important, but also I think realistically, because we hadn't played as much this year, getting it to fit was going to be logistically very difficult. But I think from a players' well-being side, I think we'd have had some real horror stories. And we've got a game tomorrow, of course, and we've only been back a week, allowed to be back a week. And even that, I'm concerned. I'm really worried about tomorrow. Not the result, whether somebody picks up something that dictates their next 12 months of recovery, and that's my concern, really. I hope we win, hope we lose. I don't mind. It's one of them. Win, lose, draw, whatever happens, but I don't want anybody hurt. And I think with another 13, 14 week league program to squeeze in, which would have been Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday type situation, 2 games a week. We're not set up for that. We don't have the capacity for that in the third tier. We don't have professional players with professional recovery systems around us. So I think that could have really caused us a problem. So 2 reasons for it to have been a positive reason to null and void. And the one where it's not been positive is the fact that there's no football after this FA Cup runs over for people. So that's the negative side, although I believe there's some sort of friendly league being set up by a number of clubs who are chipping in with that.
Yeah, I'd seen that. Obviously, you mentioned you are worried about tomorrow, obviously health-wise. Have you seen something in training, fitness-wise, or maybe some players, a difference in intensity that's made you feel like that?
Well, no, my concerns really were pre-training. Thinking, well, we've got a week, and then we've got this game against a brilliant side who are physical and talented. But actually, the players have come back better than expected. So I'm softened to my thoughts with how somebody will go injury-wise. But so I'm happy with what they've done. They've done a lot more than I was expecting, to be honest. I knew everyone was doing something, but we've trained really, really well this week, and we've staged it through the week. We've had 3 sessions, and we've done the best we possibly could in the time frame to get people prepared. I think just physically, the contact part that we haven't had for 5 months, you can do all the running you want and the fitness, and the HIIT sessions, you can do all of that, but there's nothing like the moving parts and the actual physical contact pieces. Your body sort of forgets that. And I think we've tried to encompass that in training this week, and hopefully we've done as well as we can. So we're as prepared as possible for tomorrow.
Yeah, there's a difference in there between like just normal fitness, like running, bike, and then actual football fitness, constantly on the move, pressing players and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, the opposition obviously are involved when you play a real game, but even as much as you can do on your own, it's generally straight line stuff. There's no real urgency to change direction, land, and recover and do all that thing if you're doing your own sort of piece in the back garden or over the local park. So it's very difficult to replicate, although everyone's done their best. So yeah, we're in as good a shape as we could possibly be. But yeah, there's been nothing better than getting back this week, and we've had a really good week. So I'm really hopeful that nobody gets hurt tomorrow.
Obviously, you mentioned you were happy about the players looking in training, and obviously, our previous interview said that you wasn't really pushing the players to do a lot of ball work and stuff. You was sort of leaving it to themselves. Are you happy with that decision now as well? Now you've seen they've come back and really put the work in themselves, and they've made that decision themselves personally to do that.
Totally. I stand by it more now than I did when I made it. And because, as I said last time we spoke, you sort of, you're second guessing yourself. Is it the right thing? Is it not the right thing? And actually, I think mentally it took a lot of weight off people by not asking them to do anything other than what they felt comfortable with and what they wanted to commit to. And ultimately, everyone's done what they wanted to do, and the required levels to come back into training really sharp. So yeah, I'd stand by that decision, and I'd do exactly the same thing next time. If fingers crossed we never have a next time, but if there is ever a next time, I'll do exactly the same. I'll maintain keeping the pressure off the players.
Brilliant. On the other side, will there be any absences from the side because of any injuries or something like that?
Well, strangely, we've picked up another injury through lockdown, and it's a blow really. But you can get injured doing anything. It's not only in football you get injured, and obviously we've got a number of dynamic players who do that type of job where injuries are possible. So we've picked up one little injury that's going to affect tomorrow, and we've got ongoing cases with Steph Smith and Sammy Conroy. They're just just in and out really, and they're frustrated. But we've sort of prepared for that anyway, and they're prepared for it as best as they can individually. But yeah, so no major shocks apart from the one that will affect the team selection for tomorrow.
Just quickly, what do you say to them sort of players, the Steph Smith and Sammy Conroy? As obviously your experience, you've seen them sort of players before come and go who are riddled by injuries, and it's not their fault. It's just something that's happened to some players. What do you say to them?
Well, I think we try and break it down into what's happening first off, and the reason why it's sustaining itself, the injury, a little bit more. And generally, what you'll find is it tends to be new injuries because you're compensating one you've got come back a little bit too early. So we're trying to manage that. And do you know what? When you're talking about Steph and Sammy in particular, you're talking about warriors of the game. So ultimately, they want to play regardless, and it needs a little bit of discipline and a bit of management to say you need to hold off a little bit, give it another couple of weeks, and we'll have you for longer periods. And I think that's it. Really, they've just been too brave. But to keep their spirits high, I think I could. The only way and the best way really is that when I played, I had an awful lot of injuries, big injuries. Seasons out with a busted leg and a fractured skull. I had some bad injuries, but I came back and I knew there was a way back, and there was always going to be a way back no matter what. And that's it really. You're setting off on a new journey when you're injured, especially when it's something that's persistent or a long-term situation. And you've just got to take each step as it comes. And I've got to be honest, they've coped admirably, both of them. They're massive losses for us, huge losses. They're two of the best players in the league. And we really haven't had them since I've been at the club. We've had them for the odd game, but just trying to keep their spirits high, and they're as high as can be. So just trying to relate to their situation, try and map it out, and then try and come to the situation where you say, we've got to manage this a little bit better. So stop being so brave, take on board what we were asking, and we'll just all slow down a little bit together so we can get a little bit more of a longer period out here. And ultimately, they get into the sort of 30-year age bracket where when an injury does come, it takes a little bit longer, and you're more susceptible to injury. So you have to learn to accept that as well. And that's a difficult thing. But if we can get 20, 25 games out of them a season by managing certain games in and out of their schedule, then that's going to be a massive lift for us in the future seasons.
It's a bit of irony, to be fair, because I think Sammy and Steph's last full 90 minutes was against Sunderland that they played. I can remember interviewing some after that, and she was chuffed to bits to get 90 minutes. So, like I say, It's sad they're not playing tomorrow, but like I say, for the long-term benefit, it's the right decision. Just on tomorrow then against Sunderland, obviously that last game we played against Sunderland was probably one of the best performances in the first half, I would say, and then obviously second half things changed. What do you expect from Sunderland? Do you think they'll be a bit similar to us in sort of situation we're in as well, of sort of fitness levels and stuff like that?
Well, I'm expecting the very best of Sunderland, as I always do every time I've ever played against them in all my career. They've always been a terrific team, and I'll expect the same from them tomorrow. I don't think they'll. We're all in the same boat, really. We've just all had a week, but I think they've just got. We mustn't lose sight that they were a Super League team just 2 seasons ago, and it wasn't through performance that they got. They're not a Super League team. Their structure, the bits around them is all Super League. The resource is Super League, so they're going to be prepared and ready for it. And I think the fact that we played so well in the first game against them, and when we lost 2-1 in the league, I think that will inspire them to go a bit harder and a bit faster this time, because they'll take us, ultimately very seriously, because we were a good team in that game when we played them last time. So yeah, I think they'll be at their very best. I don't think there'll be any sort of foot off the gas sort of situation.
Just quickly as well on that, you mentioned earlier as well that you're not too bothered, of course, about losing or winning tomorrow. It's more about health and safety of the players and stuff like that. What else would you be looking for in that sort of match? Because obviously pre-season will be coming up soon as well. Obviously now the season's ended. What were you looking for in that match?
Yeah, well, I mean, to say I'm not bothered about winning or losing, I probably overplayed that a little bit, because of course we're going all the way to Sunderland to win. There's no. But the ultimate priority, really, the point I was trying to make was that the fitness and the safety and health of the players is number one to me. But I want to win. I desperately want to win, and I think we've got a chance of winning. So I want to make sure that's clear. But in terms of, sorry, can you just rewind back to the question? What was the question? Sorry,
what else are you looking for in that sort of match as well?
Yeah, sorry, mate. I'm looking for a certain style of play. We've done a little bit of work this week, as much as, like I say, mainly about getting used to contact, looking after the football again and all that stuff. But there's a certain style of play that we're just working on now. So I want to see people looking after the ball better and keeping it within the team a little bit more. So that. If there was one thing additionally to the result, I'd really like us to look after the ball a little bit better and just have it within our colour. We'll be playing in blue. I'll keep the ball within blue a little bit longer. It just starts wearing the opposition down a little bit more, I think, if they haven't got it. Doesn't mean they can't win the game without the ball, of course, but it just means that we can get to a point where we're dominating the control aspect of the game if we have more of the ball.
Yeah. Also, it was revealed a couple of weeks ago as well that the winner of this game, the winner of the other side of the sort of group that we're in, will be playing at Man United. So that's something as well to look at for your team as well, like a big Man United draw.
Well, I believe that if we get through tomorrow, I believe the next game is against Fylde or Burnley. I'm not entirely sure if that's right. I think I've seen that. And then obviously the game after that's Man United. So it's a massive incentive for whoever. Clearly, Sunderland and Fylde are the favourites for the two games with us and Burnley involved, and everyone will be expecting a Sunderland Fylde game for that chance to play against Man United. But it's the FA Cup, the greatest competition, definitely in the women's game still, and it should still be in the men's game really, but definitely the greatest competition in the women's game, and something I've got lots of experience being involved in. And I love the FA Cup games. Anything can happen, and we want anything to happen tomorrow. We need a lot of luck on our side, and we'll need a lot to go our way. But it's possible.
It's often as well the teams with nothing to lose and nothing to fear often do come out on top and play the best football at times.
Well, do you know what? I'm not worried about how we'll play. I think we'll play well. I really do. I've got a feeling we're going to play well. Whether that's enough to win the game, I don't know, but you're right. Sometimes you have nothing to lose. You're the underdog, and the pressure's on the opposition to a degree, to win the game. So if we lose, it's something that's probably expected by 99% of the world. But yeah, I quite like that underdog tag anyway. It suits me.
Finally, anything like to add, Graham, going into tomorrow's game?
No, I just think it's been a terrific season, really. I know the league table was what it was when we finished, but I really truly believe we turned a corner. We hit the tipping point of becoming a really good competitive team in the league, and I think, and I hope that had we carried on, we'd have finished a lot higher up the table than than where we got locked down at. So we'll never know, and I'll never be able to prove that to anybody. But there was a real good feeling that we'd done an awful lot of the hard work. And you must bear in mind, I mean, it's come up to 18 months we've been at the club, which seems an awful long time to have turned the corner. But it needed that sort of work. And we've had 3 major lockdowns, you know, where everything stopped start. And so you never really get any momentum when you're trying to turn the corner or turn things around. It's very difficult. You sort of have a go and you get there, and then you a massive break, whether it be, you know, last year's end of last season situation and then the 2 that we've had this year. So although it doesn't look on paper that we've done an awful lot, we've dramatically changed, and the football club's in a real good shape and situation now. So just hope for that next season the club can go well, and if I keep my job there, then happy days.
100%. Thank you for the time, Graham.
All right, mate. Take care. See you soon.